Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Willyman15, and I am gonna be your caster for tonight. Tonight we have a very exciting match for our APL match tonight, which is gonna pose Lucky Strikes against Condor Legion. This is gonna be a match from Division 4, and yeah, so very exciting match. It is gonna be both teams' first match tonight, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. Alright, and as here we have the um, first minutes here of the action, we have Lucky Strikes in blue, and we have Condor Legion in red. And for now, the point here, the middle point, town center, seems to be at a stalemate as both teams cannot get can't get enough men on point here to win the initial push here of this match. For any of you watchers here currently, just do keep in mind that I do have a 15-minute delay, so I will be doing some interaction with the chat, but do bear in mind of that 15-minute delay. And looks like Condor Legion here is getting the upper hand on Town Center, as they have their medium tank here that is in a really good spot. And yeah, it's really hindering Lucky Strike's advance here, as we can see. As we still have just a little bit over an hour and 20 minutes left to go. Lots of AT rockets going to the air right now. And looks like Condor Legion has that first point. Let me just go over the points real quick. So we have rail causeway, rail crossing, and town center for a point, followed by ruins and 502 start. These are going to be our 5 points for tonight. And town center has been captured. Sorry about that, folks. And while this is going on, I'll just go over the rules with you. Just quickly show you what the rules for this for this tournament are nodes cannot be taken down, which means that all nodes currently present are always going to be there. For the Axis side, there is no Panther, only the Tiger is allowed, and only one man per artillery gun. If you guys have any questions for me throughout the stream, just let me know and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. And looks like Lucky Strikes here is putting a little bit of pressure onto Town Center as it just started to gap. But Condor is responding to that attack pretty quickly. And as the match goes on here, we can see that the action is getting a little bit more spread out here. Condor Legion sending some men on a wide line that is going from past the church almost to the top of the map here, all the way down to Town Center and past Town Center through train station over there. Flares are going up. Looks like Lucky is bringing a little bit of an offensive. Small offensive going towards point from that little alleyway. And looks like that offensive ended as quickly as it started, as it is instantly taken down by Condor's Legion defenders. And looks like we have a Tiger on the field. Our heavy tanks are, the first heavy tanks for both sides are rolling into the field right now. Those tanks can actually really well turn the tide of battle. If left alone, those tanks are a force to be reckoned with and can easily mess someone's day up. Here for you guys to look closer shot here to the action, we can easily see that the Tiger has a pretty nice view here of the of that road here that goes all the way to Town Center. So they have that pretty much locked down and will allow their team to push forward if they wanted to. But while all that is happening, it looks like Condor Legion is putting some pressure onto Lucky Strike defensive point. Let's go. We can see here that Condor Legion has the couple guys here on point, and while Lucky has very few, so right now they're putting some pressure. But if Lucky Strikes can respond to that quickly, it shouldn't be an issue for them. whole lot going on right now, as both teams are pretty much just either moving some troops around, or they are responding to something. For example, a couple of guys from Lucky fell back to their points to defend it, and Condor's Legion men are positioning themselves either to have a better defensive spot or to maybe go on an offensive here. As we are still in the beginning phases of the matches here, both teams are kind of testing each other out, see what's going to work, what's not going to work here, as they're both probing the other team's defenses around. In what should be an interesting match tonight. We have a 4-man group here from Lucky that is going to try and make a push for it, supported by one of their MG gunner. Ridge Tracer from Lucky takes down his target and moves forward. He is followed closely by Sandman and Kran. Then Kran suddenly got taken out by one of Condor's Legion defenders. Looks like Condor Legion is still putting some pressure onto route crossing here, as they still have a little bit of presence all the way over there. And looks like Condor Legion also has a heavy Sherman 76 on the field, and right now it is engaged in a tank duel with the Tiger. Let's see whose tank is gonna come out on top. And for those of you wondering where Lucky Strike Tiger is, he is right here in that alleyway. He was just getting repaired a little bit before engaging that tank in the middle of the point once more. Right now, Condor Legion is leading in this match, but there's still a minute and 12 minutes left. There's still an hour and 12 minutes left, rather. It's left of this match, so a lot can still change in this match. As we have Ginger Jesus here from BR1, that is going to try and make a little bit of a solo push onto point here, backed up by Top Gun. But while Condor's Legion tank is in the middle of the point, that does not leave a lot of ground to Lucky to maneuver around, because that tank is going to be a real issue for them in the long run. Beautiful artillery shot from, well, artillery. Right now, most players seems to be located around town center. And the tank duel is underway. Tiger hits, but is hit as well. The Tiger retreats, badly wounded. But its shot did hit its mark, and that 76 is badly wounded as well. Both tanks are calling a little truce here and are going to get repaired as soon as possible. And yeah, but looks like the crewman that got out to repair the 76 got taken out by artillery right now. So if that Tiger can get repaired quickly, they might be able to push in here and gain the upper hand. Both teams are pretty spread out right now. Well, Lucky has them around a little bit more concentrated around. I'm going to say the town part of Canton 10, while their opponent's Condor Legion here is pretty spread out evenly across the field. They do tend to have just a little bit more people around town center since they are defending that point. But otherwise, they have their team pretty spread out evenly currently. And it looks like that Tiger and 76 here are going to try and make another go at each other. As that Tiger is in position and is just waiting for that 76 to peek out to take its shot and killing its target. And that's a good hit from the Tiger. 76 is pulling back. 76 hit the Tiger as well. And they are both pulling back to retreat, to repair themselves. They are both winded. Good shots from both sides. Looks like Lucky here is going to try and have a bigger offensive going on to town center right now, as they are moving a lot of people towards town center and hopefully capture that point to win the advantage into this match. But looks like they are also losing rail crossing right now. And I do hear a Stuka. Let's see where that Stuka hit lands. And what a beautiful Stuka here. That Stuka here landed right here, and it wounded that tank. But looks like Condor Legion here is pulling yet another heavy tank into the battlefield. Which could be really hard for Lucky's single tank crew, Tiger crew to deal with. But let's see how they deal with that. Both tanks from Condor are both in action, dealing with infantry, while that Tiger is waiting like a predator ambushing its prey. Here, he is waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike and deal with its target. Looks like Lucky here are pulling another tank to the battlefield. It's too far away to tell what it is yet, but they are pulling another tank to reinforce and help that Tiger out. From the looks of it, does looks to be another Tiger, but I am not sure. We have it here. We have Panzer and Uncle Sammy from Lucky that here are getting pinched. Panzer gets taken out, but he takes down his target as well. Looks like two people from Condor here are moving into his position. He is in a dire spot right now. And here we go. The Tiger took his shot. Can he get the final hit on his target? And looks like, and yes, he can. That 76 is done for. The Tiger emerged victorious into that fight. Because it was help. Looks like the Tiger in the back actually got the finishing shot on it. So good teamwork from Lucky here that took down one of the Condor's Legion 76 heavy tank. And for those of you who didn't know, 76 is referencing the gun, actually the gun on the Sherman here. This is a 76 caliber anti-tank gun that is fitted into a Sherman. A Sherman called Jumbo chassis. Looks like that here that heavy tank from Condor Legion is going to make its way back into town center. But we do have that tank all the way over there that is not looking and could be taken by surprise from it. But it looks like that first tank here is waiting and has its gun pointed towards that way. So if they do try something, that first Tiger is going to see it, and the second one is actually putting its gun forward and moving towards the first Tiger. As we have just a little over an hour left into this match here, Condor Legion is still has advantage into this round. as they're weighing 2 to 3 right now, but looks like both daggers here might make a move forward. We shall see what happens. Good hits from Lucky. But unfortunately, Lucky does loses one of its tanks as well, which leaves both teams with only one tank remaining on the field. What looks like Condor's Legion last tank on the field here is heavily wounded. As 2 crewmen are getting out of that 76 to repair it. And while all that is happening, we do have a bunch of infantrymen from Lucky here that are making their way into town center to get some pressure going to the point. Nice dodge from Lucky's tank crew here that evaded the shot from that 76. 76 fearlessly pushing forward a bit. Now that Tagger had its role reversed onto him. Now he's the one that needs to push forward instead of waiting in ambush. Once again, Lucky Strikes and BR1 are in blue, and Condor Legion is in red. It is a 36 versus 36 match with standard rules otherwise. So first to capture all 5 points win, or the one that has the most amount of points at the end of the match wins. Condor Legion is actually putting a really good defensive onto town center, and they are keeping out wave after wave of Lucky's offensive here, while even still managing to put a little bit of pressure onto rail crossing all the way at the back. Here we have Condor Legion that is putting a lot more pressure onto Rock Crossing, forcing Lucky to pull some men away from the offensive onto Town Center back towards defending their point. that, folks. And looks like Lucky Strike has a second tiger that is actually pushing towards the point from the northern side of the point here. Well, the first tiger is still standing strong on the point. Right here. So this is Lucky Strike's second tiger here. That gets taken out here by an AT from Condor Legion known as Kim, leaving Condor Legion with only one tiger who is laying in an ambush right here. And looks like we have here a 76 from Condor Legion that is keeping that first tiger into a lockdown of sorts. But looks like they made a mistake of revealing themselves as that tiger is taking position to engage that 76. That seems to be unaware of the presence of the tiger here. Tiger pushes forward but doesn't see the 76 because the 76 pulled back towards town center. Looks like Lucky Strike's defensive efforts have paid off as most attackers from Condor Legion pulled back from the point, the immediate point, leaving them with a little bit more room to breathe. But they have yet to make any good push onto town center, as Condor Legion is doing a really excellent job at keeping the point locked down. But it looks like the first people from Lucky here have made it past little gaps into Condor's Legion's defenses here, as they are getting closer and closer towards the point. That 76 and the Tiger are engaged into a deadly combat, and the 76 reveals, destroying the Tiger, leaving Lucky Strikes with no tanks on field currently. But looks like we do have an airhead dropping in. It does appear to be Lucky Strikes airhead that is dropping down onto the point. If left unattended, that airhead can actually give a whole new way of attacking the point to Lucky Strikes here. Hopefully nobody saw it, because that could be a real game changer for them. As artillery once again is doing an amazing job at keeping pretty much keeping town center clear of infantry from both sides. As we have strafing runs from both sides here that are peppering the battlefield. That airhead still alive could change the course of the game here. Let me actually do verify if it is Lucky's or... And it appears that I was mistaken. That is actually CONDOR's Legion airhead. And looks like we have a precision strike from the from CONDOR here, from the allies, that just barely misses its target, the Tiger at the end of the road that you can see on screen over here. Once again, guys, feel free to interact with me. I will get back to you as soon as I can, but do keep in mind that there is a 15 minutes delay in between what you see and what I see. Looks like we have a bunch of guys from Lucky Strikes here making their way to the point, slowly trickling in, overwhelming the defensive effort from CONDOR Legion, but that tank in the middle of the point is still a big issue for them. But even with the presence of those two tanks on the field, it does not deter Lucky Strike's offensive effort here, as they are still going to try and push onto point, even if they have to deal with tanks. But looks like we have here looks like we actually do have a tank battle going on. I don't know what hit that 76. As they are smoking in front of their 76 to make some repairs on it. Lucky here takes the initiative and are actually starting to get a little bit of capping presence here onto point, but that effort is quickly taken down by the overwhelming forces of CONDOR's Legion here onto town center. But as all of that is happening, looks like CONDOR Legion is putting up a big offensive onto rail crossing, which is Lucky's defensive point. And unless something is done real quickly, the CONDOR Legion is going to emerge victorious here into this cap race. Well, which is not really a cap race, as town center has gone back to being fully defended, and rail crossing here is not halfway down and about to be capped by CONDOR's Legion's offensive efforts here. And looks like CONDOR Legion actually has quite a lot of people here on rail crossing. So it's going to take a lot of skill and effort from Lucky to actually get them off their point and be able to defend it again. Looks like they are contesting it, and they are defending it now. Looks like Lucky made the call to pull back most of their forces here to defend a point and send an offensive possibly a little bit more later into the match. Flares are going up into the sky as this match keeps progressing forward towards its conclusion. CONDOR Legion still ahead, followed by Lucky second. We have here a Puma, a recon truck here from Lucky is making its way towards the battlefield. Looks like CONDOR Legion is pushing some of its forces forward, trying to put a little bit more pressure onto rail crossing. Looks like they decide to go on defensive here. Trying to capitalize on their last offensive as they are absolutely taken down by Lucky's forces right here. So we have a little bit of a firefight going on as Retracer takes two of CONDOR's Legion men. And he gets taken down. Chrissy takes one more. Only one is left, and he pulls back to get some backup from his teammates. Lots of grenades going down, lots of artillery shell landing, and a lot of action here into this match. Lucky's strike forces here are getting a little more spread out as they are going to try and get an offensive on multiple angles at the same time. Trying to find a possible weak spot into CONDOR's pretty good defense on point. Like Condor's tanks here are actually doing a pretty good job at keeping Lucky Strike infantry and tanks away from where they are causing an issue. So we have one tank here that is pretty much keeping that entire area clear of any infantry or tank. And we have the second tank here onto town center that is pretty much keeping the entire line locked down. And if needed, the entire left line as well, and the middle lane from town center pretty much locked down from anything that could move forward. But we do have a Tiger tank that is making its way down that big open line here. And I do think Cynic saw it, but missed its first shot as it hit a box. It's the same thing for the Tiger here. Both tanks have missed their first shot. They're reloading and are probably going to re-engage each other pretty soon here. Connor's Legion forces are looking pretty light onto town center right now, but they are keeping every angle of attack pretty much locked down, which makes it really hard for Lucky to move around because of the way Connor's Legion are placed right now. We're now approaching the last 30 minutes of the match here with 35 minutes left on the clock. Lucky really needs to do something here pretty soon, otherwise it is going to become harder and harder for them to take that middle point. But once again, to win the match, one team only needs to cap the middle point. So as long as they end up capping it, they are going to win the game no matter what happened before. Like he's still trying to find some new ways of new angle of approach here towards point. They are trying everything in their power to put some pressure onto town center. So we have Panzer WY from Lucky that is making a go for it, but gets sadly taken out by one of the defenders. And Condor Legion's tank here actually did a bold move. and went forward and now is backing away. They abandoned their initial position, which gave them way more coverage here for a position that doesn't really offer much in the view of keeping lanes locked down. And looks like here, Connor's Leacher tank is in a tough spot here, as it is now surrounded, has no way of defending itself, and is, yeah, pretty much dead. As the crew got taken down, only the tank remains. We have some shots fired here from both the Tiger and the 76. Looks like the Tiger's shot actually bounced, and the 76 shot actually hit its intended target. But that second 76 being down over there means that this venue of attack is actually open for Lucky to take advantage of it. And if they can capitalize on it, that could be a really big move. Right now, only half an hour remaining into the match. The Tiger hits its target. 76 badly wounded, but just came out just a few seconds late on its second shot, leaving giving the 76 actually a good chance of repairing itself. But instead of pulling back to repair, the Tiger is actually gonna stay in position to have the first shot as soon as that tank pushes forward. Looks like the 76 here, commander actually got out of the tank to look to see if the Tiger was there, and since it is there, I don't know if they're actually going to push forward or if they're going to stay in position. Recon plane are going over the point, as both team here are pretty much pulling everyone they have towards town center, leaving the rest of the battlefield pretty much cleared out of anything except a few remaining forces on rail crossing. Otherwise, most of the fighting is going to be concentrated at town center in a few minutes here. While the two tanks here are still locked down into what I could call a stalemate here, a contest of will, if you'd like, as they're waiting for the other tank to make a mistake. and so they can capitalize on it. Looks like a bombing run here actually hit CONDOR Legion pretty hard as that 76 is pulling back. Leaving the point completely open to Lucky Strike's here offensive, as they're pushing more and more men towards the point here and are actually capping the point. This could actually be the beginning of Lucky Strike counter-offensive here, as they are still capping the point with just under 30 minutes remaining on the match. Tiger is pushing in towards the point. It looks like we have here a defensive bombing run from CONDOR Legion that takes down the attackers, leaving just enough presence here to defend the point. That Tiger still pushing forward here, but here, and that satchel goes off. The 76 is clear. The point here that could actually be the end of CONDOR's Legion here, as Kionix here, someone from Lucky, made a push towards that garrison, knows there's a garrison there, so which means that CONDOR Legion here is actually quite in a tough spot, as they are losing the point here at a rapid pace, as the Tiger finally makes its way into town center, which pretty much means that Lucky Strikes and BR1 pretty much has that point locked down. We're just a little bit halfway of the cap done. Looks like Lucky here is gonna cap it. Let's see if they are gonna capitalize on it, keep their offensive, their momentum going, or if they are gonna stay behind and focus on defensive here. Because like I mentioned earlier, it's not really who kills the most amount of people that wins the game, it's the one that has the point at the end of the match that wins. And looks like we have a tank that is moving towards the point here. But just as they were about to cap the point, looks like CONDOR is putting everything they have onto that point and try to capture it and defend it. I mean, is it gonna be enough? It won't be just enough, as as CONDOR's Legion here back up are making their way. The Tiger is hit, is wounded, one hit, but that does not matter, as CONDOR Legion is losing their last point because someone preemptively went there to start capping the point, making CONDOR's Legion losing their point here. But that Tiger is left alone on 2 point here, pretty much defenseless here. It can't do much, it can't bring anything as it is alone on 2 point, as that 76 here is gonna go for the kill, but it won't go down on that fight, and that 76 misses that. It is a golden opportunity for the Tiger here to capitalize on it and takes it down. That Tiger remains on 2 point. But they are putting down the satchel onto that Tiger here. If that satchel goes off, it is over for that Tiger, as only a lone crewman remains into that Tiger. But that was a really beautiful shot from that lone crewman. And looks like Krant here from BR1 tried taking down a satchel but couldn't get it off in time. Couldn't take it down in time, which means that here that lone crewman, that Tiger, has no idea that there is a satchel onto its tracks as it goes off and ends that tiger's life. Beautiful rocket from someone from Lucky here, as they are defending the point with everything they have. As we now have 23 minutes remaining onto the clock here, the battle is reaching its climax here, as both teams are getting desperate for the victory here. Lucky here is presented with two choices: either press forward on the offensive, trying to go 5-0 and win the game, or they can turtle down for 22 minutes and win the match. Lucky here pulled up a P4, a Panzer IV, a medium tank here onto point to keep those infantrymen away. As CONDOR's Legion tanks are nowhere to be seen at the moment. Looks like we have a 76 here that I did not see before. That is is making its way towards point, as that Allies precision strikes takes down that P4. That was beautiful precision strike from CONDOR Legion. With 19 minutes remaining onto the clock here, anything can still happen. Both teams here are still unwilling to let victory slip from their grasps, as they are still gonna fight until the last minute. So I will take just a quick little break here to look at something. Sorry about that, folks. As here, the match is down to the wire. Looks like CONDOR here actually also has a small little tank in the back, and are doing a pincher attack with 2 armor squad here, with a heavy tank here at the front and a small light tank at the back. But even that is not enough to get lucky off that point. They are still defending that point and are going to keep defending that point until the last minute. At least that is the goal. Here, both teams' artillery are actually doing a really good job at locking down points of interest. As that bomb gun here is going to be effective at getting lucky off to that point. There is a tiger making its way forward. That tiger is still badly wounded though, because that little Stuart here keeps poking him. But one good hit as it just happened, and that Stuart is gone. That tiger emerged victorious from that fight here. That tiger is probably gonna back away a little bit to repair itself. 15 minutes remaining onto the clock here. We have a little tiny offensive going onto ruins, as most of their forces here are on town center to make sure to keep that point secured, as this will lead them to victory. The tiger, fully repaired and operational, is gonna go and help keep that point locked down. As that 76 here was trying to get a shot on it. It's one hit on 76 by Grim. If he can get his second shot here, and he gets his second shot, almost taking it down completely. And all 3 crewmen actually gets out of the tank to repair it as soon as possible to make sure that there was no satchel on it, and are gonna start repairing the tank. Sorry about that, folks. And here that tiger makes its way to point, as more and more CONDOR Legion actually are onto the hard cap itself. We have 2 AT that are gonna try and kill that tiger. Let's see if they can do anything to get about it. I don't know what, but something blew up back there. Appears to be in the tank of some sort, so I am not sure what happened over there. But yes, also if you have any comments, review, or anything for me, please do let me know and I will be happy to let you know, or yeah. So if you guys want to see more APL stream, just keep your eyes open, as myself and multiple other casters are gonna here stream a bunch of matches from the American Premier League. As we're not approaching the 10 minutes remaining to the match. Lucky Strike still holding up point strong. Those tanks here are still unleashing all they've got. As CONDOR Legion is actually starting to make a little bit more pressure onto town center here. If Lucky cannot get enough men here, they are going to lose a point, and that could cost them the game. So we have here a lone squad lead that gets taken out, leaving Lucky Strikes with nothing onto point. So Lucky Strikes has to hurry right now to get more people onto point to try and defend it. Or at least try to hold as long as possible. But I don't think they're going to be able to defend that point, as now there's 2 tanks onto point. I do believe I hear, yes, I do hear a bombing run coming in. That bombing run pretty much clears all the infantry off point, leaving only the 2 leaving the 2 tanks onto point here. But that still is not going to be enough to keep the point under their control. But we have Worm Lloyds here from Lucky that successfully planted a satchel onto the tank. That satchel gets seen and is going to get taken out. But here we have a hero of a man here that takes down the 2 guys that were taking on Satchel, leaving which lets that the Satchel explodes here, and it looks like that. But here, put a Satchel down that we can see right here onto the 2nd tank. And they have no idea about it. goes the tank. And after doing all that, that boat gets sadly taken out, as he pretty much took down 2 tanks by himself, and that one engineer by the name of Warren Lloyd. And that, folks, is the power of satchels and anti-tank. Those are really, really tricky to deal with, and if not caught just in time, or if caught at all, it is really hard. As you guys saw, it is really hard to take down one of. And most of the time, your tank is going to get satcheled, and you won't even know about it. As we have 7 minutes remaining onto that match, Lucky here is putting a large defensive onto town center, because if they can cap that point, they win. So this is going to be really, really interesting fight, folks, as everything here hangs in balance of the game. As the cap here is started, both teams here desperate for the win. They are going to do everything in their power to make sure that town center is clear of the opposite side. As that tiger here makes its way onto point,